Hey, good evening, my friends. How are you? Welcome to another edition of Wednesday Night Live with me, Mike Avery. After taking last week off, didn't really take last week off because I was screwing around. Didn't really take last week off because I was relaxing or enjoying myself. 1 week ago, right now, I was still in the hospital, recovering from a stroke. That's why I'm wearing this patch. Still got some vision issues. My eyes still aren't working quite right. Little bit of balance. But I'll tell you what, I am very, very lucky. God was watching out for me. Mad Jack, good evening, buddy. How are you? Larry, nice to have you along with us. I appreciate your concern very much. Shoulder surgery the 31st. How you doing, Mad Jack? Doing well. Randy, good evening. How are you? Hey, Craig. Congrats on that beautiful mule deer. I have that picture, obviously, just haven't had a chance to post it yet. Bruce, good evening. Hello, Cliff. Thank you, Linda. It is so good to be here. It is so good to be anywhere. I appreciate that, Jim. Thank you very much. Robert, good evening. Jeff. Hello, Laurel. Do not recognize that name. Thanks for joining us on Wednesday Night Live. Hello, Michelle. That's a name I do certainly recognize. Bruce, thank you. I am back. I am recovering. Thank you, Paul. That's a very good point, Cliff. Glad to see you're doing better, and the family didn't have to use the memorial video that we did a few weeks ago. Very good point. Very good point, because it could have easily gone the other way. I was in pretty rough shape there for a while, but look at me now. Thank you, Debbie. Appreciate that. Hello, Lisa. Appreciate that very much. Craig, how you doing, buddy? A lot of prayers answered. A lot of prayers answered. Nathan, good evening. Hello, Bernie. How are you? Nice to have you along with us. Thank you, Mickey. Yeah, JT, I am. I'm up and around and doing pretty well. I have to admit, though, that I kind of did a lot today, maybe overdid a little bit. And I probably will do an abbreviated version tonight. Gotcha, Laurel. Kyle Green's sister. Thank you. It was nice to see you at the unveiling party a few weeks ago. Very nice to see you. Appreciate that. You have a wonderful family. Got a chance to meet your mom and dad too. Very nice people. Dan, good evening. Uncle Johnny. How you doing, buddy? Recovering from one thing and getting ready for Friday. I'm telling you, you're going to feel so much better after Friday, brother. Dave, always a pleasure. Thank you, Amy. I am as well. I have said this all along that this whole thing had God's fingerprints on it. Where it happened, how it happened. Don't know why it happened. Never will. But the fact that it happened as I was walking back from the mailbox in my driveway in town here. So it's not like a quarter-mile walk. It's right here. Got into the house. My wife Denise called the cavalry, and the medics were here, and the ambulance was here. They got me to the hospital, and they gave me that clot busting drug within about an hour. And they say you've got a 4-hour window if you have a stroke. So let this be a lesson to you. If you think you're having a stroke, or if you're around somebody you think might be having a stroke, you got 4 hours to get that drug in you. And I did get it in me, and I have no doubt that and God's grace are what helped me get through this. The fact that I wasn't up in a tree stand, the fact that I wasn't behind the wheel at 80 miles an hour on the freeway, the fact that I wasn't up in the UP, the fact that I wasn't anywhere except here at home. Everything happens for a reason. I don't know if I'll ever know what the reason for this was, but God, you did get my attention. Thank you, Rhiannon. Appreciate that very much. Hello, Rick, Kathy. Thank you, Jim. I appreciate that. Thank you, Shelly. I appreciate that very much. And for everybody who has been praying for me and the well wishes, I can't tell you how much that means to me. A lot of you, I've tried to reach out and thank you personally for your support, for your prayers. I haven't been able to do that with everybody, but your support, your prayers helped get me through this. It's not over yet, but I'm doing pretty darn good. And thank you for your prayers and support. Hello, Julie. Yeah, I'm making good progress, Julie. I am on the mend, Dave. Absolutely. Hey, Eric. Welcome back. That's probably the best comment I've heard in a long time. Welcome back. Because for a little while, I wasn't here. I don't know where I was, but I wasn't here. I was in some other place, but I'm here now. Dennis, good evening. How are you? Thank you, Jeff. Chris, appreciate it. Hello, Jeff. Bernie says, when something like this happens, it changes your perspective on life. I speak from experiences. From experience, this is Bernie. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now the eye patch again is because my eyes still aren't working together like they should. It'll take my brain a little while to figure out how to reconnect things and make things work the way they should, but I'm doing pretty good. Thank you, Mick. Appreciate that, brother. I am feeling great, Ross. How are you after your situation yesterday? How are you doing, buddy? I'm excited for the outcome of what you had yesterday. Hello, Tom. It's great to be back. I really appreciate it. Brian, good evening. How are you? I am doing okay. Thank you. Hey, Ace. How you doing, buddy? Hey, Ace. I heard from Dave, and he said he had a stroke a few years ago that he recovered completely from. I didn't realize he had a stroke, and I will recover completely from this. You know what? Even when I recover, I just might keep the eye patch because I think it makes me look like a pirate. Makes me look kind of cool, you know? I mean, what is cooler than a bald guy with a gray beard walking around with a patch on his eye, right? I mean, come on. Even if I don't need it, I might just wear it. It does, Jeff. Hey, Cap. All right, Cap's dad. How you doing tonight? Hello, Jay. How are things in the Yoop tonight? Linda says, my flirt with the dark side inspired her, Linda, to revisit her lifestyle habits. Thank you. Never too late to make a change. I am on a mission. That is the reason. That's good to hear, Linda. I will tell you this. I did not have high pressure. I did not have high cholesterol. The only thing that put me in the high risk category was cigars. I'm actually going to stop smoking cigars now. It breaks my heart to say that, but it's not worth it. I'm not going to risk another stroke so I can smoke a cigar. The one thing they did find out is I have a little bit of a hole in my heart, as everybody does when they are born. But in 75% of the people, it heals up. 25% of the people, it doesn't heal. And in most of those people, it doesn't cause any problems. So my next test is to go in there, check the hole in my heart to see how big it is, to see if it needs to be fixed or just let it go. Um, but anyway, Linda, good luck to you. Hello, George. I am doing better, George. I appreciate that very much. Carlos, appreciate that, Carlos. I'll take all the prayers I can get. Yeah, yeah, continuing the prayers. Don't stop the prayers. I mean, I'm not. Listen, even when I'm healthy, I'll take all the prayers I can get. Right, but I got a little ways to go yet. But I'm doing so good. John, good evening. Paul, how are you? Dave, I am doing well. Ed says, as a multi-stroke survivor, you're alive. Oh, here's the other thing. When they go in and they do all these tests on your brain to figure out where the stroke was, and mine was right in the center of my brain. It was a little bit on the left side, so it affected the right side of my body. They found out while they were in there that I had actually had a previous stroke. This was my second stroke. I didn't even know I had one before. Thank you, John. Appreciate that very much. Mike, good evening. Laurel says I do make a great pirate. Arg, matey. Arg. We were talking about taking my new grandson, Bean, Bodie, and dressing him up like a parrot, putting him on my shoulder. Probably wouldn't be good. Lou, thank you. Hey, Ed, how you doing, buddy? Hey, Ken. Just responding to my daughter Shelby here. Anyway, Ken, God can do wonders. He will bring you through this better than ever. I hope so, Ken. I I hope better than ever because the guy who was here before wasn't so good. Hey, Nick, how you doing, neighbor? Yeah, I appreciate that, Nick. I heard from several of our neighbors who found out that I didn't indeed have a stroke. But look at me. I mean, I'm doing good. Denise, my wife, won't quite let me take a walk down the block yet. I'm ready to mentally, and I think I'm physically ready to, but she's keeping a pretty close eye on me. It was real tough on her and my son to see what I went through. It didn't bother me that much because I was pretty much out of it. But they say, look, we don't want to see you go through that again. So please listen to the doctor's orders. So I'm going to. I am going to. He did, Ace said. Going to help you deer season looking through a scope. I don't know yet. I want to be out hunting right now desperately because the rut is in full swing. Watching the trail camera pictures at our lease property, there's decent bucks moving midday, which we haven't seen yet this season. My granddaughter Addison, I posted her picture, shot a real nice 8 point last night. I did go out there. I could not help. I couldn't help. I can't even walk through the woods right now, right? Because I can't risk taking a fall because of that stuff they put in my brain to break the clots up, but it also makes you very susceptible to things. So I can't risk a fall. So I went out there last night for moral support. I was cheering them on and I took the pictures, but I couldn't do anything else. But anyway, I really want to be out there right now. I can't. Um, my goal right now is to be out for the opening day of gun season. Now, my son James actually took his quad out to the lease property and he said, I'm going to get your ass out in the blind opening day. He said, I know you can't walk out there and probably won't be able to safely walk out there by then. He said, I'm going to put you on the quad. I'm going to take you out to your spot and put you right in the blind. And if you need to, I'll sit there with you. So I'm going to be out there opening day, one way or another. Can't wait. Rick says, I can't wait to see what God's plans is. He's going to use your voice for early detection or something. Yeah. For some reason, I mean, there was a plan there, right? He got my attention, but he wasn't ready to take me yet. So what's the reason, you know? I don't know. I may never know. I may never know. Eric, thank you. Appreciate that. Good to have you along with us. Thank you, Randy. I do appreciate that so much. Glad to see you, Deb. Very nice to have you along with us. Ross, sitting at home, visiting with mom and dad. They brought me a walker to help me get around the house. Um, yeah, I would think with the work you had done to your back, you're going to have a walker for a while, Ross. But do what you got to do, man. Right? It's all worth it. Mike, congrats to my daughter on that awesome 8 point. Addison Addie, she's a hunting fool. The eye patch is a smashing accessory. Hope it isn't covering your dominant eye. Actually, it is right now. Because I've had cataracts and surgery for cataracts, this eye is set to focus far away, and this eye is set to focus up close. So the reason I have it on this right now is I want to see what's going on right here close in front of me on my screens. As I walk back upstairs, I'll actually switch it over to cover my close eye so I can see farther away. It's kind of an interesting situation, but it works out. I need the hat to go with the eye patch. Jim says those patches are overrated. Had one a few weeks where the novelty wears off. Yeah, I can see that already. Matey. Matey. Yes. This should be my, what do you call these? Memoji? All right, let me get rid of this so I can grab it later. Matey. Arr. There, I'll grab that one later. Hey, Tim. Appreciate you being along with us. Oh, Johnny Bowler, the Bear Whisperer. How you doing, brother? I'm doing good. Cliff, seeing lots of bucks on camera this week. Absolutely. We are too. The deer are moving like crazy right now. I will, Ricky. I will. Thank you. Hello, Jim. Ruben, how are things in Colorado? Thank you. Nick, I am on the mend. Turn the angler quest. And I noticed you said QUEST. I can. Into a pirate ship. Somebody told me that when I get the new angler quest, I should hang I should fly a pirate's flag from it. And I will have one of the new angler quests, QUEST. Talking with Brad Dupuy, Mr. Angler Quest, he does want to continue to work with me, which I am honored to do. I'm blessed and honored to do that. And he said, I will have one of the new angler quests to run next year. I suspect it'll be a pro troll. Maybe it'll be a family fish, but I'm looking forward to it. Thank you, Larry. It's great to be back on the airwaves or online. Thank you, Martin. Appreciate that. Oh, Richard, on the mend myself from a stroke this past couple of weeks. Prayers for you for a full recovery, as I am mostly recovered, life-changing for sure. Richard, right back at you. Prayers that you will continue to recover and mend. Thank you, Sal. Appreciate that. Thank you, Brent. Hey, Mike. It's good to be back, buddy. Patrick, how you doing, bud? Thank you, John. Hey, listen, I'll take all the prayers I can get. Ed, first stroke was 2013. I had 12 since 2013. That's what I want to avoid. That's why I am willing to give up something that I was desperately addicted to, and that is cigars. I admit to being addicted to cigars. I loved everything about cigars. I loved the smell, the process of lighting, the process of smoking them, having them in my hands. I loved everything about it. But if giving them up will minimize my chances to have another stroke, I'll do it. And Jeff, I am listening to the wife and to the doctors. Man, amen, Dave. I don't know about that, but he's looking over me. That's for sure. Taking care of me. Johnny Bowler says, good evening, Uncle Johnny. Nice to see you tonight, Ryan, as well. Jeff, my sister-in-law had a pretty bad stroke a few years ago. She lives with us now, is doing pretty well. See, that's the whole thing. I don't mean to be maudlin, but when I was in the depths of it all, I never had a fear that I was going to die. Not that I fear death. I don't want to leave people behind here. Oh, this made me think I got a little monitor here. They're monitoring me now 24 hours a day for a month. So I never thought about dying. Never thought about it. But the other 8, James says, I'm doing 3 things at once here. Anyway, if giving up cigars will help minimize my chances of having another stroke, I'm doing it. I don't know how I could relax much more than I do, Ed. I'm a pretty relaxed guy. Thank you, Ralph. Thank you, Art. Appreciate that, Mark. Kimmy, how you doing? Yeah, things are doing good. Don't you think I look like a pirate, though? Things are doing good. I just talked to Mom. She's a little bit under the weather, huh? She's the one I worry about now, not me. Dave, same way. I can't walk on uneven ground, so I have to take my son's quad to go 400 yards to my blind. God is indeed good. You're right-handed, right eye dominant. What are you going to have to deal with that? I am right-handed. I am right eye dominant. But here's the thing. This should not be permanent. I don't think this is permanent. This is just to help me figure out what eye I'm looking out of. Like I will switch this back and forth because my eyes see perfectly fine, but my right eye sees one thing and my left eye sees another. And you know how a healthy brain will bring them together into one image? Mine originally was like this. It was very disconcerting. It's coming together, coming together, coming together. But still in a situation like this, my eyes need a little help. Anyway, the patch is for double vision. Yes, I'm seeing two different things, but I don't think it's permanent. In fact, I know it's not permanent. It's coming off here soon. Thank you, bud. Appreciate that. 4.5 years to quit smoking. It's not going to take me that long to quit smoking cigars. It was Larry, where it was right in the middle of my brain, and they said everything passes through that point. So that's why my sight and my vision and my balance were both affected. And they said it was actually two different things, but it's all good now. I think I'm going to hang on to the patch regardless. Yes, I am. No, colors are the same for me. Thank you, Tom. Appreciate that. Thank you, Bob. Amen, John. Thank you. Johnny says, I just happen to have a pirate flag from our old boat. Might have to put that thing to use, Johnny. Good point. Will Nick Grillo be doing ham for the holidays? I have not talked to Nick about this, but I suspect the answer is yes. Let me make a note right now because, yeah, it's only a couple weeks away, 3 weeks away. Um, Nick, ham for holidays. I suspect we will. I don't know if it'll be to the extent that it has been, but I suspect we'll do something. Hey, Paul, good evening. Thank you, Art. Appreciate that so much. Thank you, Bill. Appreciate that as well. Um, yeah, Rick, you're right. You're right. You're right. I love those stupid things. Um, but they're just not worth it. Hey, Brent, how you doing, buddy? Mark, congrats on your Ohio buck. And then remind me, because this happened right when I was having the stroke. I think you sent me a picture of a nice Michigan buck that you shot about 3 days after shooting that Ohio buck. And I just remembered this right now, and I did not post that, and I apologize. But congrats, man! You're having a heck of a season. That's for sure, Dave. I wondered about that, Linda. I actually wondered about that. If I could just pop one in my mouth and chew on it, if that was okay. You're a step ahead of me, my dear. Speed loader. I've got speed loaders for my revolvers. Thank you. Thank you. Nope, they never said a thing about Maker's Mark. No, I have not had any Maker's Mark since the stroke because I'm squirrely enough as it is without adding a little, and I'm unstable enough as it is without adding a little alcohol to it. But I might just pour a little one tonight when I'm done here. Thank you, James. Appreciate that. God is indeed good, John. Absolutely. We're the patch with bifocals. Thank you, Nick. Thank you. Okay, here we go. North wind, time to go throw the Rapala, starting to pick up more fish now. That's another thing, Jim, that got put on hold for me for a while. That was on my list of things to do this fall was to throw some stick baits after dark and try to cast for walleye. I still want to do that, but it's not as high a priority as it was before. Thank you, Don. It's nice to be up and at 'em. Hey, Brent, how you doing, buddy? How are things in your house? Good, I hope. Oh, good point. Now with the eye patch, I might have to switch over to Captain Morgan instead of Makers. Put the patch in a box of cigars, a reminder. Yeah. Thank you, George. It is good to be up and about. 18 years. There you go, Dave. Larry says, don't give him any ideas, Linda. Evening, Corey. Are you in Illinois now or still heading down? Great American tradition outdoors. Nice to see you tonight as well. My son James is in Illinois right now. My granddaughter's buck was awesome. I was not able to help her drag it or gut it because I need to be very careful what I do right now. But I went along. We actually took my truck out there. My grandson Trent drove, and I just went along for moral support and to take some pictures. That was a nice buck. I feel like I do, Dave. True, true. And it's getting earlier. Uh, 15 feet from your truck. Appreciate that, Jim. All right, so let me tell you who's on the radio show this week. Now, I actually did a new radio show this week. I wasn't quite up to spending 4 hours in the radio studio. So what I did was record those segments here at the house. And then I sent them down to Saginaw to have the guys at SGW put them together into a show, and it worked out. But it's very labor intensive. It's a lot of work. It's a lot easier just to go in there and in 3 hours do a 3-hour show, where I probably have 6 hours into the show this weekend. So we don't want to do it that way in the future. If I possibly can, and I actually plan to go into the studio next week. The only caveat is I don't know if I'll be driving by then, so I might have to find a way to get into the studio because I don't know if I can drive down there. Anyway, and I realize that some of these topics on this week's show are a little bit dated because I wanted to do them last week and got taken out by the stroke. So my first guest this week is Rob Miller, talks about the use of tracking dogs during the firearm deer season. Then Tom Campbell of Woods and Water News. In hour number 2, and this is the one that's really dated, Glenn Duncan of Duncan's Outdoor Shop in Bay City. We talk about sighting in your deer rifle. Although by the time people hear the radio show this weekend, there still will be folks who have not sighted in their gun. Glenn has some great advice on how to make the most of that. And then Lieutenant Joe Molnar from the DNR talking about staying safe and legal during the firearm deer season, which is coming up next week. And then we switch gears. Captain Mark Pananzak of Real Fishing talks about fall walleye fishing on Saginaw Bay, fall water. Look at that. I did this, so I got a thumbs up. Fall waterfowl hunting on Saginaw Bay. And then also, whitefish action on the piers this time of year. And then wild game chef Dixie Dave Miner has a very nice venison recipe. It's a venison rouladen, which is a roll up. And I think I have video. If I can find it, I have video of the recipe that I will post. Okay. Yeah, there you go. Some of those old bubblegum cigars. Thank you, Chris. Say bluegills went well. Now out looking for Northern Park. Get well. I'm working on it. I'm doing great. Absolutely, Robert. I know, John. Why do you have to bust my bubble? Why do you got to do me like that, John? Haven't I been through enough? We were talking about this earlier, Gene. I do look like a pirate. Arr. And we were going to put my new baby grandson, we're going to dress him up like a parrot, put him on my shoulder, but we thought that might be not so good. Thank you, Beverly. I appreciate that. Okay, so listen, I've told you who's on the show this week. I've talked about my situation more than I'm actually comfortable with. And I probably will never, I don't want to say never, but I won't dwell on it again. You know, I made it through it. So now we just move on from here. But because the last 2 days, I have spent a lot of time down here in this studio, and I'm still not 100%. I am actually beat tonight. So I'm going to wrap this up a little bit early. I can't do that though without this. Master of the wild, your stories and laughter keep and I'm still here to do it. My friends, again, I thank you so much for your support, your prayers, your well wishes. Uh, my family was outstanding. The doctors were outstanding. The nurses were outstanding. The medics were outstanding. But your support means a lot. My name is Mike Avery. Website, MikeAveryOutdoors.com. My email address, Mike@MikeAveryOutdoors.com. Don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'd love to hear from you. Next week, I'll be back ready to rock. Thanks for joining me on Wednesday Night Live.